Hey guys, and welcome to 64K Magic. Today we are going to take a look at Ninja by Sculptured Software, released in 1986. Alright, so this is Ninja. Now, this is not technically the greatest game. It's fun and it's approachable. And the reason I really like it is partially nostalgia, and number two, the exploration aspect, not the exploration, the exploration aspect here. There is a lot of walking around, and you almost need to draw a little map for where you're going, and I really enjoyed it. Now, it's also very slow in its approach, which is kind of cool. It gives you time to get ready, so you can sit on the screen, take your time, whatever. There's no time limit. You just sort of walk to the next one, and now you're hit with an enemy. Now the enemies are very, very easy in this game. Well, as far as I can tell, most of the time all you do is just kind of jump around, and you don't really, if you kind of do the same thing, as far as I encountered, don't really lose any health points. Now, if you can still get hit, there is still a danger, but if you get a good few hits, like if I do a jumping kick, I can take some of these enemies down in one go. But really, you kind of just have to do the same thing over and over again. Now, I do remember first playing this on the Amiga, and I do remember that the graphics were a lot better, and I think the gameplay was a little bit more polished as well. This one just feels a little bit like, you really do just do the same thing over and over again, and you don't really have to put a lot of effort in. As you see, I'm just jumping up and down and bouncing or kicking, and take the people down pretty easily. Now, I'll probably get my butt kicked saying this, but you're collecting these idols. I'm not actually completely certain what the point of the game is, but if you walk back to some of these screens, you can see that the enemies that you've taken down, their clothes are just lying there, which is pretty funny. But one thing I've forgotten to say was that I think the music is by Rob Hubbard. That's what it says here. Now, I had a little look at Lemon 64 here, and it says that originally this game received 25% in Z. Pretty harsh, but I mean, I do see why. It is pretty rough around the edges and all that sort of thing. I do still think that for a kid, being pretty young when I played this and not really used to a lot of games, with all the games being so difficult at the time, especially the Commodore 64 games, mainly all retro games very difficult, I do feel like this is very approachable, and that's part of why I like it. Now, one thing that I really struggled with when we first played this was actually finding where to go. Now, you got to remember, back in the day, people were just swapping games left and right, and no one had the instructions. So right there, you see there's a little hole in the ceiling. If you pull up, then it takes you into the dojo. Now, the dojo is a big place, and you can walk from room to room, left, right, up, down, and you're collecting these idols. Again, I'm not completely sure if there is an ending to this game because I've never gotten that far, but I do like this whole walking around and, trying to, in a way, collect all these sculptures, idols, and seeing where you haven't been. So again, the exploration aspect here is really fun. So, I mean, if you do get a chance, or if you like your retro games, give this a go and try and see if you can find it on one of the machines of your choice. It was pretty much released to all the 8-bits. I think I said 1986, and then later on, 1987, I think they took it to some of the 16-bit machines like Amiga and so on. Now, I don't think that's a little bug in the background there. I don't think the dragon or whatever it's supposed to be should be flying through the wall like that. So it might be a little bit graphical bug. But I do like that the enemies don't respawn. It just gives it a little bit more authenticity. I feel a lot of the time games where the enemies keep coming at you a little bit frustrating. Oh, well, there's a lot of characters here. Let's see how difficult they will be to take down. They don't really do much. They just stand there. So Yeah, okay. See, this is probably why the game didn't score incredibly well, because of the way it plays, you know. So I let's see if we can take these guys down, and I'll leave it there. Just wanted to show you guys basically what this is about. And I like to focus, with the games that I play, I like to focus on things that are special, not only because they're good, but they're I like the underdogs and the games that have something that's cool about them, even though overall maybe they didn't do so well, like 25% in this case. I still like to pick on the good points, like I still like to have a look and see this game could have been improved by making the enemies a little bit harder. Maybe the ones on the bottom before you get into the dojo are approachable, easy, and then as you get further into the dojo, enemies become a lot harder. I can see that my health has gone down a little bit, but I mean, I've just taken down a whole bunch of enemies, and not really sure if there's any health here as such to regenerate. But yeah, really enjoy this, even for its crapness. It's a good game. Again, the Amiga version is better, so if you guys want to track that down, have a play of that, you might be pleasantly surprised. But Commodore 64 is my main machine of inspiration. It's childhood for me, and one of the biggest reasons I make games today. So yeah, anyway, have a look at this game, guys. It's a fun little time waster, even though it's not technically the best game. It's still enjoyable to play, and if you like me, you'll find something good about it. For me, it's the exploration aspect and the fact that you can have a little walk around and easily take down some enemies, and it's not overly difficult. So hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next 64K Magic.